All right, all right, all right. Hello, good people. Ready to do this thing once again, man. Once again. And it's just not the outcome that we so hoped and desired. But we're going to talk about it, guys. Let me send the link out to a few special people, and then we're going to dive right into it, guys. Man, it's so much to talk about. It's so much to talk about. Give me a second, guys, and we'll dive right in. I got notations, but you know what? I'm not even going to go with my notes. I'm not even going to go with my notes. I'm going to go right off the cuff because I think I can sum up a lot of what's going on here with just a few simple things I'm going to address. So give me a second, man. Give me a second. Send it to the last person here. All right, here we are. Tough situation, guys. Tough situation. So let's do the quick shout outs really quick to the first viewers, the early viewers. Lydell Dorsey Jr. What's up, Antoine? See your Cowboys are rolling. Blair O'Neill. Smitty 753. Christian Gonzalez. Aguilar 99. Ali Howard. Antonio Clown. Vista Light, Ed Poe, Sherman Slaughter, Eddie Longs, 14 Metallica Freak, SJK Knight, Jermaine Jameson, Taquan Wiggins, and we'll cap it off here with Anthony Alamando. See, it's a lot of you guys already viewing. Good gracious, 83 people already, man. We're blowing up, I guess. Where shall we begin? Let me start off by saying this. Taquan says, go sign Colin Kaepernick. Y'all need to cut it out, man. But let me get into this. Usually I talk about the first drive, both defensive and offensively, but depending on how the game went, sometimes it doesn't even matter. It's a distant memory at this point. What's the point of me covering that? But I will say this. Where I'm going to address all of my attention is defensively, but not where some of you guys might not think where I'm going to go. But then offensively as well. It's both areas. Both offensively and defensively. This was a huge problem for us in tonight's game. The trenches. The trenches was a huge, huge, huge problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers. At offensive line, they don't look like one of the best offensive lines in the league so far. We have 3 games with 3 games in. You guys know, what do I always say? What is my motto? I wait till about week 5, 6, 7 in some cases, but usually week 6 tells me exactly what type of team we're going to have. It lets me know if we have a team that has potential to be on the uptick. It lets me know if we have a championship pending team. It lets me know if we have a team that's going to be in the dumps. It lets me know if we're going to have a team that could probably eke out an 8-8. We're going to know that very soon. We're going to know that very, very soon. But what I'm seeing already, the trenches have not been good. Let's talk about the offensive line first and foremost. Matt Filer, he's getting exposed, guys. He's getting exposed big time. Big Al Villanueva, you're not looking that good, buddy. And let's think all the way back to when we played New England. We did a better job with it, against the Seahawks as far as pass rush. Ben had some time here and there. Rudolph had some time here and there. But against the Patriots and against today with some pretty top-notch pass rushers, Nick Bosa looking like he's as advertised, D Ford, and I don't really know the rest of their team. Buckner or what's the dude's name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Number 99. I can't think of his name right now, but I know those guys. I just can't call their name. Pretty formidable four-man front. They were getting after it. And that offensive line was getting pushed around. A lot of times Rudolph didn't have a lot of time back there. A lot of times there was not a lot of holes to run through in the run game. That's number one. Flip the script. Let's go to the other side of the ball. We could not stop the run. We could not stop the run when we wanted to. Imagine that. Another scenario where we've seen this in recent years where teams are able to pound the rock against us. Those big boys up front, they're not looking like big boys. I got to keep it honest. I like our team. I like a lot of the players on our team, but I got to call it how I have to call it. Stephon Tuitt was getting pushed around. Javon Hargrave was getting pushed around. Cam Hayward was getting double teamed from time to time, but it was times where he was getting handled. Our linebackers were getting handled. Yeah. Devin Bush made some mistakes in the pass game again. It was a pass play, I believe, to Kittle when they were going down this side. I know y'all don't know what side I'm talking about, but I think it was either the second quarter or the third quarter where they threw a pass to Kittle, and you saw Devin Bush was lost in space. He's a rookie. I said this as much. I said Devin Bush is going to be a nice player for us, but he's still got to learn, guys. He's still a rookie. He's still a guy fresh out of college, and we've seen it already where he's a little hesitant at times when defending the pass. You know, it looks like he was lost in space. He was looking around. He finally saw Kittle, and it was too late, right? What else did we see out there? They still bite heavily on play action, both him and Barron. But here's the funny part. After I say all of that, I'm going to get a little more specific now with both offense and defense. First up, Randy Fichtner. I need somebody to explain to me why we wait so long to try something else. Why do we do that? I really want to know that. I really want somebody to answer that question. We are very, real basic, stick to the scriptish early. And that's cool. But if the script ain't working by the second, well, say the third drive, you got to come out of that. It's like we were being a little timid early. I understand it's Mason Rudolph's first start. We're on the road. You got the crowd noise. I get all of that. But the offensive line, Mason Rudolph, and Randy Fichtner all looked like straight poo-poo in that first half. The defense turned the ball over or were able to recover fumbles or what have you. 4 turnovers in the first half, and you come away with 6 points. That is can't even get the word out. That is, it's cringeworthy. Unacceptable. Guys, let me take a sip of water real quick, man, before I go in. I feel like I'm going to lose my voice. Listen, Kenyon, myself, and Tony, you guys know we talk via text, via the game, and a group chat. Kenyon was making great points saying, look, man, the Niners do have a pretty solid defense. They do. You know, they got good, 2 young inside linebackers with Warner and the other guy's name I forget right now. Pretty decent secondary with Richard Sherman being the veteran anchoring it down. You got guys up front. You got Bosa. You got D Ford. And why do I forget these other guys' names, man? Y'all know the guys I'm talking about. I just can't remember their names right now. The 2 guys in the middle. Very formidable, right? But if a team turns the ball over 4 times, I don't care if you playing the 85 Bears. You better get me a touchdown out of one of those. 6 points? 6 points. And think about the short field that we had in them scenarios. What else we got to do? And I said it early in that game. I said it in the halftime. If you don't believe me, ask Tony, ask Kenyon. Did I text him this? I turned and looked at Leonard as well and said, look, we lose this game, I ain't putting it on the defense. Now, the defense did make some... We got to look at them and with a side eye later on in the game, and I'm going to get to that. But for the most part, we lost this game in 3 key areas, okay? In the beginning, the offense stank up the place. Offense was trash in the first half. Horrible. Everybody. Rudolph, O-line, Randy Fichtner. And I don't know how much blame you want to put on each one of those areas, but they all didn't look good. Because Rudolph was making bad throws and off target. There were a couple drops. James Washington probably could have caught that ball even though it was a little off target. Same thing with Deontay Johnson. Redeemed himself later, obviously. But you didn't help your defense at all. And I was very surprised that the defense hung in there as long as they did. That was my biggest concern is how much misdirection and how much power and the jet motion and all that stuff that San Francisco runs at you. I thought it would be even worse. But they did a relatively decent job. Think about it. Here's the crazy thing though. When I talk about the trench battles, they didn't do anything exotic to beat us. When they were running the ball, stretch right, stretch left, misdirection, up the middle, power. They was doing basic things, but they were killing our front. It was almost embarrassing, right? So that's one reason why we lost. Ineffective offense early in the game. And some people can say, yeah, well, the game was still close late. It doesn't matter. You have to take into consideration when you have a lead early. Just imagine, again, I'm going to be modest here. 4 turnovers. Imagine if 2 of those turned into touchdowns. How different would the game be when we are carrying a lead? Okay, we're carrying a lead of 14-0 going into the second quarter, heading into the halftime. How different of a game plan is that? They don't run the ball as much then. You see what I'm saying? They ran the ball. More importantly, it was when they were up for the most part. Still no excuse. I'm just saying it changes things. It changes things when a team got a lead on you, because then they want to be a little more aggressive because they like, whoa, wait a minute. We don't want to let the Steelers keep scoring. 4 turnovers, guys. I'm going to keep saying that. 4 turnovers. I have never seen anything like this from our team. 4 in the early, 3 in the first quarter, I believe. Halftime comes, 6 points only. Here's the second area where we lost the football game, potentially. James Conner. Listen, I love James Conner. I love his story. I love his aggressive nature. I love his demeanor when he runs the football. But James Conner has now, let's be honest, we've seen now at least twice in the last 2 years where he potentially was the reason why we lost the game. I know some people are going to put it all on James Conner, but you can't say that, right? Because let's just say they kick a field goal. Let's say we don't keep that drive going, which is no reason for me to think we would have kept the drive going. 3rd down conversions, let me add that in there too. We are trash with 3rd down conversions. So there's no confidence in me thinking that we're going to sustain this drive. Oh, no. Oh, no. No confidence in me with the ball with 6.5 or so left that we're going to win if Conner doesn't fumble. Hell no. Remember, that was, once again, Randy Fichtner sticking to his guns, and we had lost yards on that play. Just recall it. We had lost yards on that play even if he doesn't fumble. And the reason why I bring that up is, again, guys, this is my opinion. I'm not right or wrong. I just will throw this out at you guys, and I'll let you guys elaborate, think about it yourself and see whether you agree with me or disagree. I told Leonard earlier today when we were watching the Chiefs game, you know what? This is what I like about guys like Andy Reid. This is what I like about guys like Sean Payton. This is what I like about guys like Josh McDaniels. And I'm just talking about people who I know call plays. And even the Rams do that a little bit, and I'm looking forward to watching that game tonight. They keep going. They don't get the lead and they get comfortable. They stick to the script. They stick to what's working. Whatever we did in the second half that started opening up things, why don't you stick to the script instead of running the football when everybody in the world knows the Steelers are going to try to milk the clock? Why don't you catch the defense slipping? Maybe a few quick passes here, a few quick passes there. Hey, you started off the game running quick screens. Maybe this is the time to run it. Because maybe the Niners are running a blitz at you, perhaps. See how fast they crashed down on James Conner on that toss? Maybe this is the time to run the quick screen because the blitz is coming. Or just be more aggressive. Don't do what everybody in the world thinks you're going to do. And I'm cool with taking a chance. Had we not picked up the first down and we were taking shots, yes, I would have been upset that we didn't execute, but at least I could say, look, they're going for the win. Sticking to the script, running the football, everybody knows it's coming. You give James Conner the opportunity to fumble. Just saying. But this is the second time that at least we can say James Conner potentially lost us the game. Again, we don't know what happens with the rest of that drive if he doesn't fumble. Let's not kid ourselves here. He also did it in Cleveland last year. That game was won. I'm just saying. Got to pay attention to stuff like that. I'm not ready to throw him in the trash yet. But you look at these situations. The drop pass in Jacksonville last year. That was a clear touchdown. Again, I'm not ready to throw him out with the bathwater. I'm just saying. You got to point these things out. Then the third thing. Here's a third reason why we more than likely lost this game. 2 words. Mark Barron. Folks, it was 3rd and 11. Incomplete pass. The Niners, at this point, has to kick a field goal more than likely. They're not going to go for it, are they? No, probably not. Steelers get the ball back with relatively decent time on the clock. Opportunity for perhaps Mason Rudolph, one last drive attempt. Maybe you get down in field goal range, and maybe we're talking about Boswell being the hero. Maybe you do well enough, you catch him again slipping, and another deep pass. Maybe we score a touchdown, and we walk away with the dub. But we never got that chance because Mark Barron, one of the worst defensive holds bruh, let's be honest. The way he held Kittle on that play was like he was terrified. Right in front of the... Listen, we all, for us guys who's played sports, everybody does a little something, but you do it in a way to where it's not going to be called. If you got to hold somebody, it's a quick little grab. You don't grope them. You don't wrap your arms around them and say, hey, Kittle, I like your name. That's cute. Let me give you a hug. Come on, man. In the middle of the field, you know that's going to get called. Terrified. They score a touchdown. How did they score a touchdown? Randy Fichtner, are you listening? Switching things up. You see how quick they got on the ball and quick snapped that? Quick slant to Pettis? Even though, when you go back and look at it, wasn't that bad of defense. Nelson was actually in position. Pettis made an adjustment and cut in front of them and got the ball. That might have been more receiver than anything. But that doesn't make you feel better. They still scored. But then you're left with not a whole lot of time on the clock. And then what I said a little while ago shows up again. The trenches. The O-line ain't able to protect anybody. And the sore thumbs that I'm seeing so far, and I'm going to spend a whole lot of time this week on Tuesday looking at the trenches. But the sore thumbs that stick out right now, clearly Matt Filer and Big Al. Big Al has given up some stuff at times, man. I don't know if the problem is up the middle. I don't know if Pouncey and DeCastro are being handled. I got to look. But I clearly can tell Big Al, who had a penalty drawn on him today, as well as your boy, Matt Filer. With the loss of Marcus Gilbert. Again, Marcus Gilbert was hurt a lot, so I'm not going to sit here and say that. But Matt Fowler, again, is another guy who's trying to prove himself. He's not proven. So what I'm seeing right now, the Steelers could be in the market for an offensive lineman going forward. 'Cause I don't think Zach Banner is the guy. I don't think Chooks is the guy. We'll see. But I don't know, man. What else I want to talk about really quick, man, before I open up the calls? Well, there's a lot more I want to talk about. Let me ask y'all this question before I continue, because I had this debate with my father-in-law, Leonard, and Leonard is probably in here too. We always point to coaching, and there's a lot of coaching problems that I had today offensively and defensively. I'm going to tell you exactly what I didn't like defensively. But this particular situation, Leonard said to me that that's coaching, what Barron did. I disagree. I disagree when you say a team is undisciplined, it's completely the coach's fault. Let me prove my point. What Barron did was an individual play. We all saw that. I don't think a coach has to tell you not to wrap your arms around the guy that you're guarding when the ball is being thrown. I don't think a coach has to tell you that. That was his problem. That was his fault. Now, did Keith Butler put him in the wrong position? I don't know. That would be coaching. But getting called for defensive holding, I can't blame a coach for that. Here's a case in point. I'll make it really quick. There was a game that I played in one time, and we had the lead. And the coach told me, this was on a final drive for the opponent. He told me, hey, on this play the flats. Play the flats. Let's not get lulled to sleep, man. They might throw us something short. Play the flats. We get them off the field, game is over. I was like, all right, coach, got you. I go out there, scan the defense. In my eyes, I'm like, nah, they not short. They not going deep. Number one, the tendencies of that team, they're not going short. The tendencies of the team that we were playing, that ain't what they do. They had a decent quarterback. Dude wants to air it out. You're down. It's a minute left. I said, they're not going to throw it short. They're not. And then I saw the way the alignment was. Ain't nobody going in the flat. So what did I do? I did what I wanted to do. I played deep, right? Now listen to this. I get the pick. Oh yeah. Your boy come down with it. I'm trying to run that thing. And let me give you a caveat. It's like a monsoon out there. Mud and rain everywhere. Here I go trying to return it, get hit, cough the ball up. Yes, I fumbled the ball. Teammate recovers it. It's all good. We still going to win the game. I get back to the sideline and my coach pulled me to the side and say, did I not tell you to cover the flats? I was like, yeah, coach, but he said, no, but what'd I tell you to do? He said, I'm going to wait until after the game to give you credit for recognizing what happened and getting the pick. But right now, we need to deal with the fact that you didn't do what I told you to do. What if they would have did something different? Could have been a totally different thing. So the moral of the story he told me is I can't praise you for doing something I didn't tell you to do, even though it worked in your favor. That was on me. That ain't had nothing to do with the coach. So this is my point. I cannot blame Tomlin, Butler, Austin, whoever for Mark Barron getting that defensive holding. That's an individual play right there. So I want to know how you guys feel about that. Remind me later when I'm looking in the chat. Here's another thing with coaching. Listen, guys, I know football, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything. I'm not going to sit here and act like I see everything, right? I could very well miss some things. I could very well not notice some things and maybe not recognize the type of scheme somebody's running, et cetera, et cetera. But I need y'all to answer this question for me. Why did we get so blitz heavy in this game with our safeties? I don't know if you guys were paying attention to it like I was. Like I said, guys like me, we're nutcases. We're watching the football aspect. And again, I'm analyzing things. Kenyon is the same way. A lot of guys like that. But not everybody watches football like that. And that's why sometimes I keep my opinions to myself, because I know not everybody is watching what I'm watching. I'm literally watching the game like I'm watching film. And I could go back and tell you what happened. And Leonard knows this because a lot of times Leonard will be like, yeah, you said that. When the other team is going to be called for holding, because I'm watching all of that. I'm watching the whole, it's almost like I'm doing an all 22 as I'm watching the game, right? We blitzed our safeties a ridiculous amount of times. And most of the time, guess who we were blitzing? Minkah Fitzpatrick. Now, I have no problem with Minkah blitzing. However, Minkah Fitzpatrick was brought there today to play free safety, meaning he's going to be your post safety, meaning he's going to be your better cover guy, meaning he's your center fielder. Why, oh why, are we blitzing him more than anyone else? If I'm not mistaken, I think we blitzed Minka more than Hilton today. Could be wrong on the numbers, but it was really close. Now, some people are going to say, well, you know what, Sim? You know, we probably was expecting a run. I get it. But maybe blitz the strong safety, the guy who is not as good in coverage. And we blitzed Edmonds as well, a ridiculous amount of times. Why were we doing that, number one? Number two, it's not getting home. And I understand you don't just give up if it doesn't get home 1 or 2 times. You want to keep trying, but you don't do it 13 times. It was at least something like that. The play where Deebo Samuel should have come down with that ball. Did y'all see who was guarding him deep down the middle of the field? Joe Hayden. What's Hayden doing back there? And I know once I watched the All 22, I think I've actually seen this play before. We ran that concept last year. It was some type of switch up, like some type of invert situation, I'm sure. But I need to go look at it to see what it was. But do you see my point? Minka was blitzing on that play, if I'm not mistaken. Butler, ding, 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 ding. I need to know. Again, if I'm wrong, I would be a man and say, yeah, I didn't think about that. Okay, I get it. But from the naked eye, I don't get why you're blitzing who's perceived to be your best cover safety. And the reason why I can get on Butler for that, he did the same thing against the Patriots. You remember when I sat right here and I said these words? Why are we blitzing Steven Nelson on the Josh Gordon touchdown? Why? The better cover corner at the moment. He covers, in my opinion, better than Joe Hayden can right now. No knock on Hayden. Listen, Hayden has lost a step. He's the elder statesman. And this is just not emotion talking. You look at the Seahawks game, every time they test Nelson had the job. He only gave up 1 reception, I believe, early in the first quarter. Back shoulder. After that, the boy was locked down on DK Metcalf. He is our best cover corner. Until somebody proves it otherwise. Why are you blitzing this guy in man coverage when the Patriots was on that 20-yard? That whole sequence. And that, my friends, is coaching. Those are coaching things. And I blame Butler, and I got to throw some blame on Tomlin because, again, you're the overseer. Your background is defense. So even if you're not calling all the plays, you are allowing this to continue to happen. Let's see if a change is made. Perhaps. With Alston. We'll see. But I can't really put it on the secondary today. I saw the biggest problem we had on defense today, run game. We got beat up in the trenches. We got decent pressure, but just not enough pressure. But Garoppolo was getting the ball off. I mean, again, if you look at it objectively, it was a lot of times when we were this close to getting the sack, he gets the ball off. It was a lot of times when we was forcing him out of the pocket. A lot of would-be sacks. So don't sit there, guys, and just keep saying, we didn't get no pressure. No, we did. We were getting pressure. We were getting some pressure. In the first half, we was getting pressure in the second half too, but like I said, it was near misses. And we were getting hits on the quarterback. But the trenches, the run game, we got destroyed. But speaking of Minka Fitzpatrick, man, that's the last thing I'll say real quick, and then I'll go ahead and answer the phone calls. I swear I didn't even do this on purpose. It's about to be right at 30 minutes. We'll open it up for calls, and we got a good 30 minutes left or so. Minka showed up, man. And I know people are going to say, well, that was a tip pick. Listen, those are the ones that Sean Davis don't make because he's not in close proximity. I got to give Minka credit for that, concentration. I got to give him credit for coming in, laying the boom, and knocking that ball out. He was responsible for 2 turnovers. And let's give Joe Hayden some credit. On that particular play, again, let's go back and watch it. And if I remember, maybe I will show this play on Tuesday. If I remember. I'm going to be honest, I might not remember. It was great all around on that play. Bud Dupree, mind you, got great pressure on that play. Got in the face of Garoppolo, got a hit on him. Joe Hayden was playing Beautiful coverage. He batted the ball. Ball tips up. Minka intercepts it. That was the perfect play. Pressure, PBU, tip drill. But who cares? Because we didn't score a touchdown off of that. But other than that, Mason Rudolph struggled handsomely in the first half. Bounced back in the second half. Love Juju. Listen, I know everybody's been critical of Juju and even Leonard. We was having this conversation during the game. He's not a number one receiver. Man, give Juju some time. I understand he might not be the number one receiver that Antonio Brown is. How many people are? I understand that Antonio Brown is definitely responsible for some of his success, of course. But let's not act like this boy don't got skills. Juju made that play. That was tight coverage. He caught it with his fingertips, outran the first angle, and then angled himself down the sideline. And that safety, ridiculous angle he took. Great play by Juju. Great play by Juju. Good play by James Washington and Mason Rudolph on the pass interference, because that was probably a touchdown. So we still see that James Washington can get behind people. And then Deontay Johnson. Okay, I see you, young boy. But what did they show us? They showed us that Barrett was peeking in the backfield like Artie Burns, and that's why he got burnt. But it's good to see. So there's some promise there with Deontay Johnson. Moncrief, yeah, you might have to keep staying on that seat for a little while. But let's get to the phone calls, man. I've talked so much, but there's been a lot to talk about, man. We got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y'all know the routine, man. Keep them short. 1 minute or less, man. In and out. In and out. First up, area code 412. How you feel? What you got for us, man?
What up, Sim? It's Smitty from Pittsburgh. A little bit depressed after finding different ways to lose for the past season in 3 games. But 2 things. First, quick question. I've seen Dave from Steelers Depot tweet. He said, since you sat Moncrief for dropping balls, do you sit Connor for fumbling? Quick question. I might sit him.
Yikes. That's a good question, man.
And also, I think that we lose as an organization. 1, just with the free agents pickup. 2, disappointed. 1 in Moncrief and Barron. He's disappointed. He can't run the field and he can't cover. And also with the coaching staff. Because my real question, does Tomlin really have control of who they hire at most spots? Because think about it.
Good question.
Said it last week, and a lot of people don't know this. Butler was a Rooney hire. Then Fichtner was hired because Ben likes him. So this offense is tailored to Ben, so that's why it looks so predictable and simple. But Randy needs to do a better job being creative in his play calling. But those are my 2 questions. I'm really curious about the Connor one, but I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. Appreciate you, Smitty, and good time on that call. Let me just answer a few things really quick in the chat before I move on. That's a good question, first of all, Smitty. Hey, man. We'll see. You know, how much confidence do they have in Snell and Samuels? But also, man, I just want to comment real quick on what Nays is saying. Kenyon already responded as I was typing. Guys, you're saying use the fullback more. Rosie Nix has been out for the last 2 weeks. Come on, man. Like, let's make sure we know what we're referring to before we make certain requests. I'm just saying. I'm not picking on nobody, but I'm just saying. Rosie Nix hasn't played for 2 weeks. And then also, y'all saw what happened when McDonald went down. My goodness. Grimble just did not look like the guy. Next up, area code 973. What you got for us?
What's going on, Sam? This is Jay Will.
What's up, man?
I just want to, I got a question, but I also want to talk about the offense. Our offense looked horrible, terrible in the first half. 4 turnovers. Sam,
yes.
Come on now. 4 turnovers, and then where the turnovers was at. I mean, and then so there's a lot of blame to go around, but also, do you think that 2 years is enough for Mason Rudolph to be able to do a little bit of know how to, like, just at least get up on the ball fast? You don't think that's Randy Fichtner's fault? Like, not having him ready? I mean, come on. And as far as the defense, I agree with you. the two safeties. Like, why are you blitzing Minka Fitzpatrick? He was showing out back there when he was doing what he done. That's a good trade that we did. But yeah, I just got them 2 questions, Sim. Thanks. I'm gonna go.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you coming through, man. And yeah, guys, I don't know. You know, it's so many questions. But Kenyon did mention that too. I can't remember if Jay Will just said that or if that was Smitty about the highest. We all know the story with Butler. But I am on the train of let's get rid of him. But we know that story. And some of you guys may not, but I'm not going to get into that tonight. But we know that story of why Butler is still there and the whole Dick LeBeau. Like, everything is not what y'all think y'all see. There's more stuff going on in the background that some things Tomlin don't have control over. It just is what it is. Area code 757, what you got for us?
Hey, Sim, this is Brandon, man. Just wanted to come on, and I swear sometimes we think alike, but my main thing, I guess, with today was mistakes in the secondary was a big thing. That offensive line is scaring me, though. I really feel like there is a definite drop-off since we lost our offensive line coach. You can see it, and then we have our weakest positions are our tackles, which need to be our strongest positions. So it looks bad on that front for Mason. But I think a lot of people are going to take away from Mason this game just simply because of how it looked in play calling. When really, if you think about it, he checks your boxes on what you want in a quarterback. He's a heady guy.
Yeah.
He can make pretty much anything on the field. The arm can be kind of sometimes, but he can make every play on the field. He's going to get out there and run your offense. He has the confidence and everything like that. Mechanics for him are beautiful. I don't know if anybody pays attention to his mechanics. Mechanics are great, which is giving him a little bit more oomph on that ball. But main thing with today, I think what you saw with the defensive line, I know I'm close with the defensive line. I think it just came to them being on the field too long. But that's all I got to say, and I appreciate it.
That could be, and I appreciate the call, man. I'm gonna respond to that last point. That could have something to do with it for sure. You know, the offense not helping out the defense, but you know what? Leonard made a good point while we was watching the game. The other team's defense is the same way. It won't like their offense was staying on the field that much when they weren't scoring. I can't deny that. But it is a factor. But then we talking about all kinds of different minutia, you know, like there's one team more prepared, you know, physically. I don't know. But that is a good point. Offense was not helping them boys out whatsoever. Next up, area code 931. What you got for us?
What's going on, Sam, man? This is Rough House, man.
What's going on?
Boys had all the way around, all across the board, man. But you read my mind, man. Our O-line was getting blown up at the point of attack. Even when there weren't hits or sacks on the quarterback, bro, you could see Big Al or Filer chasing their man on their way back to the quarterback. Yep. You know? And that should be, man. That was horrendous, man. And another thing I wanted to say was, for the last few seasons, it seems like we've been notorious offensively about having slow starts. And I'm wondering, do you think that's because of the script? Because they probably script the first 10 to 15 plays. They need to change the script up, in my opinion. Do something different, like you said. You know, don't get locked into, you know, to the insanity, the insanity cycle. Doing the same thing over and over, man. But I honestly think they need to throw that script away and try, man. Maybe we can get a faster start, man. But that's all I got.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. I definitely believe, you know, if you guys hear what I say all the time, man, I do believe the script is. Listen, I understand you come into a game with a game plan. I get it. But how many times, let me ask this question and then I'll move on. How many times as Steelers fans have we been able to say, whoa, I didn't see that coming? It's sad, man. Again, maybe I watch too much film, but from seeing our formation a lot of times I know what we're gonna run. Shouldn't be that way. If I see it, defensive coordinator see it. Let's do something different. Just try something. Try. Area code 803, what you got for us?
Hey, good evening. I hate to stay on the theme, but lack of execution from both offense and defensive line is what's killing us. Lack of ownership. We're not executing. Other than that, the thing that we've talked about is what would happen if we were to win games is happening. We have a pretty good ratio for his turnover. I don't know what the ratio is right now, but we're turning over the other team more this year. Thank you very much.
Appreciate the call, man. Love that call, guys. See that short and sweet, because we got a good amount of calls in here. Yeah, man, that's the craziest thing. I just can't get it out of my mind that we produced 5 turnovers and we lost. I can't. And it almost turned out the way I said like on Sunday or Friday, whatever day that was when we did the pregame. Almost was able to keep them to less than 20. It almost ended up being 20-17. That was the key. I felt like Rudolph could get us 20, 21. Yeah. Area code 810. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Black Hawk, Sam. How's it going, man?
Good. What's going on, Hawk?
I got 2 quick things, man. I didn't hear anybody talk about it. One is, I think right at the end, man, Tomlin should have used a timeout and gave Rudolph a little more time instead of waiting like that.
Yep.
And we got to get rid of Switzer, man. Switzer's doing nothing for us. And that's all I got to say, bro. Thanks for taking the call. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I know if Leonard's listening, he'll love you for that one. Yeah, Switcher don't offer us nothing, man. I'm sorry. And I apologize, guys. I was the main one saying earlier before the season started that, recent bias, I was saying keep Switzer over Eli. No, he's not offering us anything. And yes, I definitely agree with that. Tomlin, again, man, clock management. We should have called the timeout earlier. I remember Leonard even saying that because they're probably going to at least get a field goal, right? They're probably at least going to get a field goal. Call a timeout and save yourself some time. But whatever, man. We already know how that go. Area code 334. What you got for us?
Yes, sir, big boy. How you been doing up there in Pete Town?
Good. How you doing,
Listen,
man?
I'm doing okay. I'm gonna tell you, I was unable to watch the game on television, but through the highlights, Fitzpatrick. Well, that's his name. Get me out. Fitzpatrick. What's his name here? The boy that got drafted from Miami.
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Huh? Fitzpatrick. Okay. Minka. Okay. We got to build around that young man. We got to get some more corners. I like his style of play. He turned the ball over a lot. You got rid of the quarterback Dobbs, and that old horse he's been bagging on. He's got to sit out for a year. And AB's coming back home. But we're going to keep our head up. Keith Butler got to go.
Absolutely.
He's terrible. Bad calling. Like the caller said, Switzer got to go. He did not serve no purpose. I don't know why he's there. We let go a lot of good players behind the color of his skin. I'm just going to put it like that. Because I don't see what was the reason to letting Eli go over Switzer. I didn't understand. But it is what it is. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you for your time.
No problem. I appreciate the call, man. Listen, guys, I got to address that last point really quick. We all got our opinions. I don't think that was it. I mean, it's hard for me to think that when let's put it out on the table since the caller said it. Okay, the coach is black. A good amount of the team is black. I don't see that. I don't think it had anything to do with race, gender, sexual preference, nothing. I think what happened from a football standpoint is the fact that, like I said, again, I'm not saying this is right, but I think it was recency bias. Switzer had offered more for us last year with Eli out. Switzer had did enough in preseason equal to what Eli was doing, and they just made that decision. Probably was not a good one. I don't know if they were wanting. Here's the real reason why Switzer probably made the team. If we're looking at a football point, who have we not seen run kickoffs yet? Deontay Johnson has not run kickoffs, right? The only other person we've seen run kicks back is Johnny Holton. Again, showing us that maybe Johnson ain't ready or whatever the case may be. We did see Johnson field a punt or two last week. Switzer was back on it. Clearly, that's the reason why Switzer made the team. It came down to which one of these guys can offer us potentially more than just a receiver, Eli or Switzer. So clearly they wasn't ready to hand over the reins to your boy Johnson yet. I doubt if Switzer would be there next year. Just my opinion. But yeah, the other stuff, nah, man, I don't think we can say that. But I don't know. Listen, that's your opinion. I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. Area code 313. What you got for us?
Hey, what's good, old son?
Good, man.
I just got a couple of things to say, and I'll be out for you. But you're right about the trenches. What nobody is saying is, and what everybody's forgetting, that Mike Munchak is gone. Where them boys, like them the offensive tackles, where their technique is slip, Mike would have been checking that since when we got whooped by New England. Coaching does matter, especially. That's when our offensive line was great. Before he came with Pittsburgh offensive line, it was in shambles. When he got there, he fixed it. We became one of the top offensive lines in the league. He's gone to Denver. This quick, this stuff showing up. And see, you just called it out. Point right to that guy who gets them guys in the trenches. And then going back to what, like you just said, I make the bring this back up to you. When you just said it ain't about color, I'm agreeing with that, but we just had a person that, we said, Tuba Skipper outperformed guys that was on that roster. He gets slipped. He stayed on there. He got slipped and cut, but we keep Chickalo. I'm not saying it's a race thing, but in some minute, they got preference for certain people, to me, and they keep them too long, hoping they become something. And that's all I'm saying. So you guys have a blessed one. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.
No doubt, man. I appreciate the call. And before we go too far with that, guys, I just, I don't want it to turn into that. I'm not about that here. As Steelers fans and football fans, I mean, this ain't the place for us to get into all of that. Listen, it could be something anywhere, okay? But I don't feel like from our team and knowing how the Steelers do business, everything that I'm seeing that they do business-wise lines up with how they've always done business, if that makes sense. So people would say, well, why would Chickalo still? They always go with the Steelers always go with familiarity. They're familiar. Same thing with Medikevich. And also, both Chickalo and Medikevich have been special teams demons. That matters. So that's all I'm saying. Tuzar Skipper, on the other hand, we were pounding the table, all of us saying, yo, can this guy get on special teams? Because we all knew if he didn't play special teams, he was going to be a casualty. They play him in the last game. He gets a couple tackles. He does what he's been doing all preseason. Voila. They keep him. But then they decide that they want to carry another receiver into the New England game. I get it. Probably a smart move. As we're probably seeing now, we don't know who's going to be the breakout second guy. They bring Holton up. They put Tuzar on the practice squad. And I'm going to be the first one to say that was a mistake. You thought he was going to pass waivers. He didn't. You probably should have let somebody else go. Not cut. Remember, they're not going to cut too many people after the 53 is in place. So it's not a lot of people that they were going to cut at that moment. Again, remember what Chickalo brings to the table. I'm not defending him, but he's a special teams guy. Has been one of the staples since he's been there. Same with Medikevich. And again, according to the way the Steelers do business, there were only a few people they could gamble with. They had already only kept 5 receivers, so that only left a guy like Fred Johnson or Tuzar Skipper or Ulysses Gilbert. So they took a gamble, they lost it. I don't think that had anything to do with the others. I just don't. I could be dead wrong, but again, the way they do business is lining up to the way they've always done business. So I can't look at anything else outside of that. Real quick, 912, what you got for us?
Hey, Sim, big fan. First time ever calling in. I'm glad you accepted the call, but I had a couple things for you. So with James Conner, to me, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I was sick and tired of that same run from the shotgun formation to home.
Yeah.
He got the ball 2 yards in the backfield. He was shaking and baking 2 dudes just to get 2 yards. So I saw the fumble. I seen it. We're seeing it happening. And to me, I'm just like, when you got the corners and safety blitzing, at first it was providing pressure, but later on in the game, when it kept showing, you saw Garoppolo seeing and making adjustments. Pittsburgh, same thing, no adjustments, week after week. And it's sickening because we see it happening live and we know what's going to happen, and then it happens.
It's sad, man.
It's frustrating to me, because we see it. Even the commentators, like you mentioned earlier with airing it out. They say, come on, air it out. The whole game I kept hearing air it out. And then when they started airing it out, the first time it was Deontay Johnson, he had a step. Rudolph overthrew him. And then he finally connect. Washington get the pass interference, which was questionable to me. It's just, I don't know. It's like everyone is seeing it, but it's like, what's going on the sideline? Because they got the film, they looking at the plays after the drive is over, but I don't see adjustments.
Yeah.
You see adjustments from other teams, but Pittsburgh, to me, it's like they just a step behind on the adjustments, and it's killing us big time.
That is definitely it, man, and I appreciate your call. Love first-time callers, but you hit it right on the head, man. I had this conversation with my father-in-law, Leonard, watching the game. I said, we don't make adjustments. That's what I see the most out of the coaching staff. If we want to put it on coaching, they don't adjust well. They don't adjust well. Because like I said, when the plan works, I don't see a lot of people complaining because we won. But I try to be the type of person that don't have results bias, right? So I even look at the things I don't like about the team when we win. Because I was prepared to tell you guys tonight, I told Leonard, if we happen to pull this out, I can't wait to still get on and talk about everything that was wrong. There's no adjustments. I don't see huge adjustments from Fichtner, Butler, and I have to put some of this on Tomlin. He's the manager. So even if I am to believe that Tomlin doesn't call any plays, right? You are the one that's supposed to be able to say, nah, we're going to do something different. We're not doing that again. I was watching a college game last night, man, and it slips my mind which team I was watching because I watched a bunch of them. I can't remember. It might have been my boys. It might have been when I was watching Florida State. And it was somebody, but I remember the commentator saying, you see the head coach over there, he's basically saying, slow it down. Slow it down. We don't need to run the offense that fast no more. And I don't know if that was, it was somebody. But that's what I'm saying. That's Tomlin's job. To be like, look, that ain't working. Why we keep blitzing them safeties? No more of that. And I don't know, man. But I'm going to move on to this next caller here, man. Area code 520. What you got for us?
Hey, what's good, my man?
What's going on, man?
Hey, man, I know you're trying to run, man. I'm one-man opinion again. Hey, man, I was been watching the Steelers for a while, been a fan for a while. I don't really blame the players because they've been drafted and out of position. What I really blame is that Roethlisberger wanted his money, and then that affected Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. Let's look at it. Let's say Ben is in his 14th year. Ben could have took a discount and paid Bell. Let's say Brown leaves, but you pay Bell. We win that game today, maybe, if you have a superstar who wanted his money. Ben Roethlisberger had no business accepting that money. But that's the Pittsburgh way. Pittsburgh is going to come off like they're this family-oriented unity, but they're going to pay who they want to pay. Look, if you're trying to win games, Pay the players who's going to help you win games. Minka Fitzpatrick came in. He instantly showed the Pittsburgh defense how to play. But them dudes doesn't have the knowledge how to play, so they're great athletes, but they can't play together. Their linebackers their inside linebackers are totally out of position. You do not bring in a Mark Barron and ask him to go play buck linebacker. That just don't make any sense. But that's okay. If that's what you did, that's your vision, that's what you paid, fine. But do not pay Ben Roethlisberger and then don't pay Le'Veon Bell. And that's what people don't want to talk about. Ben Roethlisberger should have took a pay cut, pay these other two young men, so if he happened to do get injured, now you have someone that can help out a young Mason Randolph. And by the way, Mason ain't never been an answer. Dude, if you watch the guy, he wasn't an answer. So come on, Lee. We just trying to have a quarterback that he just don't lose a game right now. So that's why you got to have dudes like AB, L. Bell. So everyone else is going to have a conundrum about Tomlin. Forget Tomlin. I like Tomlin. I told you last week. I like Tomlin. I just think that it was affirmative action hire. Not that he's not qualified. It was affirmative action hire because the Steelers know that he'll do what they want him to do. He should have spoke up and said, hell no, we ain't paying Ben at no 35. We're going to pay L. Bell first, AB second, Ben's third. Now Ben's out. Mason's in. He's in for the next 14 games. He is what we have. Now we got AB and Bell. See the difference, people? You don't pay no old guy, but the Steelers way, come on, guys. If you're really a Steelers fan, you know the Steelers were built because the Rooneys won a card game. So that means they're gamblers. Stop with all this family stuff. They're gamblers. So if you're a gambler, they gamble on Roethlisberger and lost. We're about to suffer for the next 3 or 4 years for that, fellas. One man's opinion.
2-minute warning.
Good night, my man.
Definitely appreciate the call, man, and I don't disagree really with anything my man said. I will speak on that as we wrap this show up here, man. We got about 4 minutes left. Whoever this is that's calling and is showing all ones, I'm not answering that because that ain't a real phone number. I don't know what's going on there, so it is what it is. I want to reflect back on my man's call, one man's opinion. There's a lot of truth in his statement. The thing is, let's address the truth first. Yes, Ben Roethlisberger doesn't appear to be the Tom Brady type. Take a pay cut, what have you. I can't say I remember if he's ever done it before, but he has always seemed to be the guy that makes sure he gets his amount, make sure he's within that upper echelon of the market. On one hand, you can fault him. On the other hand, you can't, because that's the game they play. That's the person he is. I have nothing to do with who Ben Roethlisberger is outside of football, personality-wise. Same thing I would say about Antonio Brown. I only cared about Antonio Brown playing football. All of the stuff that he's doing now, whether it's the sexual allegations or how he muscled his way out of Pittsburgh and all that stuff. Listen, I don't know him personally, so I don't try not to live my life judging people. We all got our warts. It is what it is. That ain't my business, right? So it's not for me to get on Ben Roethlisberger's character. I can't control that. Maybe the dude always wants to be recognized as one of the best players in the league and he takes the money. Legit point. The other legit point you said was that's the steal away. It is. It's the steal away. I don't think that changes. So my only response to that, I don't think it changes. So I don't have the time, for me personally, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but I don't have the time to worry about that, because it's the same conversation that Leonard and I have all the time. And I promise y'all he'll probably do it this coming year in free agency. Every year, Leonard looks at me and says, I don't understand why they won't go. That's not their way. However, here's a caveat. Maybe it's changing. I never would have saw a Minka Fitzpatrick trade for a first round. I never would have saw that. We have seen it before, but it was rare. But Steelers generally don't trade up that far to get a player in Bush. They generally don't play the type of money that they pay for a Steven Nelson. So maybe the tide is shifting a little bit. But you're absolutely right. And I think most of us know that. Of course, there's some people here that probably don't know the steal away. But I don't think there's anything wrong with what you said there. It's the steal away. But because I know that's how they get down, why am I beefing about that until I see them change? You understand what I'm saying? Not saying that we can't poke fun at it, but why am I even considering that if I know that's just how they do? If I know that's just how Ben Roethlisberger is. And the last thing I will say is I know a lot of people like to throw it around, even some of the media pundits. Steelers didn't want to pay Bell. They didn't want to pay Brown. That's not true. They just didn't want to budge on the guaranteed money like they've done with all non-quarterbacks, which could be a problem. You're correct. Could be a problem that only Ben Roethlisberger or your franchise quarterback is the one that can get guaranteed money. I think that sucks. But I don't think we can say, and I've said this from the beginning, we cannot say that the Steelers didn't want to pay Le'Veon Bell. Remember, the last offer was $70 million total. One thing the Steelers do have a good history of is paying the majority of that contract, if not all. He was virtually guaranteed $33 million in the first 2 years. He would have been on the team for 2 years. So I just don't agree when people say that they didn't want to pay him or they didn't want to pay Brown. They just didn't budge on the guaranteed money. And like I said, like you said, that could be just a way they do business type of thing. Ain't nothing we can do about that. So great call, man. But all right, man, guys, we're about to roll out. Let's stay in the comment section here for just a moment and see what you guys got. We'll give you guys about 4 or 5 minutes. Brighton Barnes says, this guy. Which guy? Me or the caller? Explain. Elaborate on what you're talking about there. If it's about me, I'll be happy to respond. Real Fact says, I know Winston is a turnover machine, but I'd like him for Pittsburgh, to be honest. Okay. And let me say that really quick, too, man. I don't think Mason Rudolph is bad yet. Let's give him a chance. It's too early. It's too early for us to be judging these guys, man. I don't know if he's the future, but what I do like about the kid is I like his moxie. I like his bounce back. It's 2 consecutive weeks we've seen this. Bad interception, Mason Rudolph. I mean, horrible. But I told y'all, what did I tell y'all last week on Terrible Towel? It's going to be growing pains with this guy. But I like his moxie and I like his bounce back. That is key for me. And I see a lot of guys saying time to call Colin Kaepernick. That would be great. But judging off of what we saw today, does Colin Kaepernick make us that much better? He ain't gonna do nothing about them trenches on both sides of the ball. So I'm just saying, let's stop reacting so fast. Let's stop it, man. That's the dude's first start. Let's stop overreacting so quick. As a fan base, give it a little bit of chance, man. What else y'all got? Builder's Life says Heinz Kraft pays Ben under the table with Heinz Kraft money and benefits. Okay, maybe they does. That's none of my business. Why Diggy says I wasn't fond of the Barron signing to begin with. Maybe let's see if UG3 can do something. Can't get any worse than a linebacker that gets beat by a fullback. Hey, now we talking. Why not? Maybe let's see what UG3 can do. You saved him for a reason. Let's see. I like that. Somebody said, how did the Giants beat the Tampa? Who knows? Winston is trash. Okay. I want to see what else y'all got, man. Give me something. I'm very depressed about the start of the season, but we have played teams with a combined record of 8-1. The defending Super Bowl champs and a playoff team. Pump the brakes, but I'm starting to worry. Yeah, I mean, the season is could be over. I say could because let's be realistic for a moment, and I know y'all going to go crazy in the comments when I say this. I think when you get to a point where you've lost 6 games, your season is probably done. Reason why I say that, it's very possible to make the playoffs at 10-6. Do I think we're going to get there? It don't look like it yet. But like I'm saying, I just don't give up on a season until the 6th loss has happened, and then you really could only lose. You can't afford to lose not another game. Then that's when I say, yeah, we probably done. 0-3 is a gut punch. It's not the end of the world because let's just say, just hypothetically, I don't think this is going to happen. Let's say we get Cincinnati next week. Let's say somehow we muscle through Baltimore, which it scares me if we can't stop the trenches against the run game. They can run the football, and Lamar Jackson passes a lot better now. But let's just say somehow you get past them, and then you have to play the Chargers. If you're 2-5, I'm not 2-5. What am I talking about? If you're 2-3 and going into the Charger game and you're pumped up to get to 500 and you muscle your way to 3-3 going into the bye, it's a new season. This is not likely, people. I'm just saying mathematically, I just don't discount anything until we've lost 6 games. Then I'm sitting on edge. What else? DMTJ2834. Oh, okay. I just read that. Tony says, hey guys, we're going 0-5. This was Mason's first game. He'll get better. Connor didn't lose the game. I have to agree with Tony there. Connor helped. But again, remember guys, we won't sustain in drives like that. It's no guarantee that we're going to kill that clock with 6 minutes or so left, or we're going to drive it all the way to the other side of the field and kick a field goal to force a touchdown, which they still scored, by the way, or that we were even going to be able to flip the field with a punt. You know, it's just, I don't know. There's no guarantee. Our offense was not looking great. So, there you have it. What else y'all got? Why is the defense playing in zone a lot, getting burned a lot? They played zone and man. Don't just look at a couple plays. They mixed it up pretty well today. But a good reason why you saw a lot of zone too is in some of those blitzes we were running zone concepts, sometimes man, but we tried both today. And there is a time. Listen, let me make sure you guys understand this. There's a time and place for both zone and man. Remember how much man we ran against New England? How did that turn out? Again, try not to have results bias when you give an opinion. And I'm not saying that for me. I'm saying it for you guys. I'm telling you, trust me. When I stopped doing that and I started analyzing things, I can accept things a lot better because I see, okay, that's why. You understand what I'm saying? Don't let the result always determine how you feel about something, whether it's good or bad. Appreciate that, Jesse George. Round of applause, man, for the donation there. What else y'all got? Smitty says the defense gets hurt in the middle of the field, not really that outside, it's the middle of the field. It is. You know what? The corners haven't been terrible, guys. Steven Nelson, again, I'm high on him so far. And Joe Hayden has given up a couple things, but nothing, egregious like Stephen A would say. It's the middle of the field. And again, it's not all Edmonds' fault. Minka played good, but I wish, and it's too much time, but I wish I could show you guys multiple plays with the all-22. A lot of it is situational. A lot of times we was getting gashed too when we were blitzing a safety. I just don't understand what his thought process was by blitzing the safety so much. Kenyon, am I off with that? Now that you're in here, am I off with that? Well, am I crazy? I know I was texting you like crazy during the game, but why were we blitzing safety so much? And the majority of the time it was Minka. I don't understand. Mr. Bergland says, should be on the phone looking for a tight end ASAP, and I would definitely bring back Eli, promote Tevin Jones. Okay. Well, who's coming off if you who you cutting to get Tevin Jones on the field? Because if you bring Eli back, I'm assuming you're cutting Switzer. That still leaves us in the same predicament as far as like 6 guys. Patrick Covington says Tomlin is on the hot seat this year. You know what? I disagree with that. You know why? Ben Roethlisberger is probably going to save it. It'll be very easy for the brass to say you lose your starting quarterback and the team is playing hard. I know it don't seem like that, but guys, in the grand scheme of things, when you talk about corporate business, these last 2 games haven't been bad blowouts or anything like that, right? Offense struggles. You lose your quarterback. You got to put your emphasis on a second-year guy. Things like that, if you thought Tomlin was on a hot seat, could probably save it. I'm just saying. Just trying to think from a business standpoint. Let's see. Did Kenyon respond yet? Nope. You are not, Sam. I tell you, man, I don't get it. I don't get that. Addison Steiner says lots of new personnel means it takes time for the team to get in sync. That too. And I'm about to shut it down, man. I've gone a little further than I expected. Pino P says Switzer over Moncrief. Well, I don't think that was a problem today, man. I mean, listen, Switzer and Moncrief play two totally different positions. That's not really a comparison as far as where they line up. Relfax says we are playing hard. It's just the personnel is bad in some areas. I fully agree with that. RJ Killer says every time they pulled the guards, our linebackers got washed. Yes, they did. Listen, man, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Our #1 draft pick he's learning. No way around that. And we knew this would happen. We've seen it with a lot of our rookies. You remember Ryan Shazier first off? Wasn't the greatest. But Bush will be fine. This is what he needs to experience right now. He'll be okay. But they're definitely getting washed. Pino P says Tomlin is a better coach than people realize. He's one of the best coaches in the league. Who would replace him? Like I told you guys, I'm not even gonna respond to those things because I've made my point so much, and people are gonna have their own opinion. I'm more in line with what you were saying, even though I got to hold Tomlin responsible for some things. But yeah. David Willis says Pat's Nation. Okay. Welcome to the Steeler Podcast. Let's see what else. Kenya, let me read this one. Kenya says people want Dez on the team. Laugh out loud. Sim, are you reading this? Listen, let me tell you something. Leonard has said this as much to me as well in the past about bringing Dez Bryant. Guys, results bias. We got to remember that Dez Bryant was declining when he exited the NFL. He's not the same Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant is not a #1 receiver. Matter of fact, I don't even know where we play him on our roster right now. Not saying that some of these young guns are better than him. I'm just saying, where do you play him? What spot does he play where we think he's going to be overly effective? Creating separation and all that. I'm just asking. I could be off. I'm just asking. And it's the same question I have about Kaepernick. I would love for the Steelers to be the ones that stick their chests out. We know people wanted to talk about, race things and all that earlier. We know that Colin Kaepernick, there's a situation there. The league is blackballing him. Okay? And I'm not, this ain't the podcast for that. But it would be great to see the Steelers do that. Right? But again, from what I'm seeing, I don't see where Colin takes us over the top either. I don't. He doesn't fix the problems. Rudolph is not playing extremely bad. A huge part of Rudolph's inability has been the O-line, some of the play calling as well, and just early jitters. He's a young guy. But like I said, we've seen him bounce back. He bounced back in that second half and was balling. Didn't ball crazy because the offense continued to stall, but I don't think that it's Mason Rudolph's lack of ability that's keeping the Steelers from winning. That, to me, I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen it where I could just throw him in the trash. Just saying, man. Yeah, man. And Dylan Houston says, Kaepernick has the stank on him. No organization will hire him. AB has the Kaepernick stank on him too. Come on, man. Some things you guys just have to see it with your third eye, right? Everything just ain't on the surface. All right, a few more, and I promise I'm going to get out of here. The BBJCC says, we almost made the playoffs after an 0-4 start before, so it ain't quite over yet. It ain't quite over yet. Like I said, you got to wait until you get to about that 6th loss. Then you can start panicking. Daryl Duke says, did you notice how fast those 49er running backs at the hole? Why is my running back so slow? That's just talent. That's just talent level. All right, here's another one. I'll read this last one here. Marlon Nicholson says, love that we got the turnovers, but the offense was trash, and Mike Tomlin needs to take responsibility because he needs to get Finkner's behind and let him during the game. This is BS, unacceptable. Look, let's end it with that. Well, I want to read Debbie's comment. We always appreciate, hey, Debbie, when Debbie comes through. Debbie says, Kenyon, I don't see how you do it. Sometimes for me, it's best to sit out. Yeah, I know what y'all are talking about. You're right, Debbie. The chat section gets crazy, but listen, that's what it's for. Let people express themselves. But let me answer my man there, and then we'll get out of here. Marlon, yes, we got to hold Mike Tomlin accountable. Absolutely. We have to. I don't know what else to say. Where do we go from there? I mean, like, because literally there's nothing else anybody else can say, because we don't know the level of degree that he's holding them responsible or he's not. The biggest beef I have with Tomlin, like I've always said, I don't like the clock management at times, and also I don't feel as if he's assisting with making adjustments. Because true, I'm the main person that always says the way the Steelers do things, the way it's always been, Tomlin allows his staff to coach. He tries not to overstep these guys. He respects them as men. Great. But when we're continuing to do the same things, the offensive coordinator is stuck in his ways. Ben is stuck in his ways. Butler is stuck in his ways, and I don't see any changes. I have to look at my head man and say, hey, buddy, you're the manager. I don't know how involved you are, but I have to lump you into this because nobody's making adjustments. That is Mike Tomlin's biggest issue that we yet don't know the full extent of, and don't act like you guys do. None of us do. But that is something we can put facts on. Clearly, we're not seeing the big adjustments made. Clearly, we saw on defense, we continue to send pressure with our safeties. Why are you continuing to do that? We continue to send the same blitz look with Mike Hilton. Why are you continuing to do the same things when they don't work? That I blame on the entire defensive staff, including the Coach Tomlin. So there you have it. He has his warts, like everybody else. But like I said, keep the same energy when the team is winning. That's all I ask. Be consistent in your gripes. That's all I ask for people. Because I promise y'all, a lot of y'all don't, because I pay attention. I'm watching. You know who you are. I ain't got to say no names. But there you have it, man. There you have it. It's certain people, like, I'm telling y'all right now, I don't like Butler's philosophy. Whether we win or lose. I hate it. Y'all have heard me talk about him when we won. Remember? Y'all remember last season? When we've won games, I've talked about him. I keep the same energy when it comes to certain people. That's all I'm saying. But all right, man, I'm about to get up out of here. Appreciate that, Mark Keller. I love you guys as well. I'm glad that you love the show, because I love you guys as well. And before I sign out, of course, if you guys want to donate, you can do so right here in YouTube. Click the $ at the bottom of the chat. Have at it. If you prefer not to do it on YouTube, I do have PayPal. I also have Cash App. It's in the description. Always appreciate it. Never required. So don't feel forced to do so. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. At least do that. Don't cost you nothing to do that. And it definitely don't cost you nothing to hit that like button. Come on, man. We get all kinds of views on this, but the likes are very minimal. I don't understand why right now it says it's 232 people viewing. It should at least be, let's be modest, should at least be 200 likes. Maybe 32 if you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Help me out here. And what you say, Leonard? Leonard said we're going to lose to Cincinnati next week. We might. Here's the interesting part, though. After this game, let me leave y'all with this. Let's say we go 5-11 and we get a top 10 pick. How y'all going to feel about the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade then? I bet you y'all opinion changed. I guarantee you, some of you, and I'm going to remember, that'll be the show where I call names. I promise you. If we go 5-11 or whatever, if we end up with a top 10 pick, I promise you, some of you guys that have said that the trade was worth it, I guarantee you're going to say, we shouldn't have gave up that first round pick. Fickle. I guarantee that. Hopefully we don't have to get to that, because even though I understand, I don't want to see a losing season like that, but I guarantee you guys are going to do it. And I know the ones who said it, and I'm going to call it out just to have a little fun. But all right, man, let's get out of here. Love you guys. Y'all already know that. So lick our chops. Oh, announcement. Tuesday is my little son's birthday, man. He turns 6 years old. So might be a little late for Terrible Towel Tuesday. It will still happen. It just might not be at 7:30. So I just want to give you guys a heads up on that. If you're noticing I'm not on by then, it'll still happen after his, his little birthday dinner and things of that nature. And then I have to go out of town on Sunday. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the post-game show. I'm going to try to. I don't know how. But we'll try to figure it out. Okay? Maybe when I get back home, because I think that game is early. When I get back home, I'm traveling to Virginia. Later that night, maybe we'll do it. But I just want to give you guys that heads up so y'all can know what to expect and what not to expect. All right, but outside of that, I'm going to at least watch some Cleveland in the Rams and see what's going on there, see how the Browns look. And that's about it. Y'all have a good night. Don't lick your wounds too much. It is what it is, man. It just might be one of them seasons, bro. It might be. It is what it is. It hurts, but it is what it is. Life goes on. All right, I'll catch you guys on Tuesday. Be safe. Be blessed. And I thank you for tuning in to the Terrible Towel post-game show. Peace.